Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dill, Alabama, heading on the road at night to Jordan-Hare Stadium, playing an Auburn football team that is currently 5-6, fighting for a bowl game appearance. But Dill, DJ Durkin might be fighting for the next head coaching job at Auburn. Now, look, there are a lot of really fun storylines in this game. Number one, what are we going to see at quarterback for Auburn? Deuce Knight against Mercer was an electric factory. Now, look, I get he's a true freshman, and Mercer versus Alabama looks a little bit different. But I will say this, if Auburn wants to win this football game, I feel like you need that kind of it factor at the quarterback position, something you have not gotten from the quarterback position all year. If you're Auburn, maybe you trot out there with Deuce Knight and say, hey, there might be some freshman mistakes, right? But he also gives you the ability to make some plays that can change games. You know, something they just weren't getting from Jackson Arnold, and something that I'm not sure if Ashton Daniels can give them. Not really sure what we're going to see at quarterback. Alabama's got their hands full, man. Like going on the road in a rivalry game against an Auburn defense that's really good against the run and can get after the quarterback, that could be a problem for Alabama on the road. I do believe Auburn's defense has the ability to keep them in this football game. I think there's a lot of casual fans that look at the number coming out as Alabama only 3.5 points, say that doesn't sound right. I think to a lot of people that know these two programs and know what this rivalry game means, maybe that number's not too far off. A lot of storylines to get into before we do, and as always, Alabama fans, Auburn fans, let it fly in the comment section. I expect it to be hot in the comment section. I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And Dill, I want to start here. Now, I get Deuce Knight's a fun storyline. We're going to get to Deuce Knight. This Alabama offense going on the road into a very hostile environment. An Alabama offense that has struggled to run the football all year. Are you concerned, if you're an Alabama fan, that Alabama's going on the road against a really good pass rush and probably won't have much of a run game to lean on in this football game?
And honestly, Alabama's kind of been walking that tightrope all year, and it hasn't really stopped them. You've certainly seen it stumble at times in the Florida State game when the conditions weren't great, and then against Oklahoma, who, again, kind of I feel like presents similar challenges, albeit I think the caveat is, can Auburn's secondary kind of wake back up? Because they, since the last couple of games, I feel like have looked very much out of sorts. I mean, Diego Pavia putting up the numbers he put up on them.
Auburn's secondary has not been good all year. I mean, go back to the Baylor game week 1. We thought they'd figure it out, but they never really have. I wouldn't say this is an Auburn secondary that's playing at an elite level.
And again, I know Alabama probably isn't going to run the ball incredibly well, but you need to be able to play good in the secondary to stop Alabama, because I still think this is a top 5 at minimum passing attack in the country.
100%. 100%. And I guess the only worry if I'm an Alabama fan is you are going on the road and you probably are going to be pretty one-dimensional. You know, Alabama's not been able to run the football. You look at Auburn's defense specifically against the run, they're only giving up 2.7 yards per carry. I think number 4 in the country. These young backers for Auburn, man, they're special. And they have the ability to get after you. So if you want to sit there and try to throw the football 40, 50 times in this game, well, DJ Durkin's going to dial up some pressure. They got guys on the defense all along the defensive line, obviously headlined by Keldrick Falk, that can get after you. That's my concern, but I think you are very much right in the sense that can Auburn hold up in the back end, right? You are going to get some pressure on Ty Simpson. And one of the question marks are, how well does Ty Simpson deal with that pressure? Well, if he deals with it well, and he's accurate with the football, can these Auburn defensive backs be sticky against a really dynamic Alabama passing game?
Because I don't think you can look at this and say, like, oh, Oklahoma gave us the perfect blueprint, because honestly, Alabama was moving the ball pretty effectively through most of that game. Like, again, the kicking game for Alabama certainly needs to tighten up. Connor Talty can't miss these kicks there.
Agreed.
I think that's what separates that. It's separated that Oklahoma game, for lack of a better, explanation, if you will. So I look like, again, I love that Auburn can get after the passer. I love that their front seven's dynamic. It just, to me, it's not going to be enough necessarily. Like the back end needs to kind of play different probably than they've played all
And
year.
here's the thing: is we think those players are capable, right? Like I don't think Caleb Harris all of a sudden got really bad at the sport. I believe you're going to be out with Sylvester Smith for the first half. He picked up a targeting in the second half of that Mercer game. Yeah, I think that might be the story. Can you make it hard on Ty Simpson in the back end? Because I think you can stop the run. I think you can get after Ty Simpson, but can you be sticky in the back end?
Because it hasn't been enough for everyone else, because everyone's kind of done that so far, but he's been good enough, and those wideouts have been good enough.
All right, let's flip it here. Do you start Deuce Knight? You watched the game. You went back and watched it.
1,000,000% you start Deuce Knight. I think it gives you a new energy. I look like, I mean, he at least was creating things. He was making huge plays from that quarterback spot. I don't care if it's with his legs, with his arms, or with his arm, I should say. To me, I feel like it'd be such a letdown if I'm an Auburn fan to not see Deuce Knight trot out there.
Yeah.
I think you have to do it for the people.
It's okay. I totally agree with that. Like for the people,
take the air out of the stadium if you don't see him trot out there. I'd be like, oh, you can't put Jackson Arnold out there. I know.
Well, that. It sounds like it'd be Ashton Daniels. Here's what I'll say about the Deuce Knight conundrum. Is number one, I know it was against Mercer. He added a it factor to this Auburn offense, an explosiveness, you might say, to an Auburn offense that hasn't really had that all year. And number two, regardless of who your quarterback is going to be, like I don't know if Auburn's going up and down the football field, right? Like I think you have to figure out how to find game-changing plays, be explosive, have those plays that change games. Who's going to give you that to you? Like I don't think it's going to be Jackson Arnold. I don't think it's going to be Ashton Daniels. I think it's going to be Deuce Knight. I think Deuce Knight gives you the best ability to be explosive. What he can do throwing the football, what he can do using his legs. He might have a turnover or two, right? But he also could give you a couple of plays that allow you to stay in this football game and have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. The second part, like the run game, man. Like Deuce Knight's legs, where do you want to attack Alabama, Dill? Want to run it at him, right?
That's what I was thinking. And I know the other quarterback, like Ashton and Jackson Arnold, are athletic. But there's a different level of juice for sure. I mean, the way he could pull away from guys and like make guys miss in the open space. To me, he adds an extra layer that, again, I'm kind of with you. I feel like if you throw out one of the older quarterbacks, like you kind of know what you're going to get, and you're probably not going to really score at all.
And it's probably not going to be enough, right? It's probably like you throw in Ashton Daniels, it's probably just not going to be enough. I don't think Ashton Daniels is enough.
It hasn't been enough all year, if we're being perfectly honest. That's why Hugh Freeze has been fired.
I will say this, though. I want to say Derek Nix Hugh Freeze was calling brutal plays. I ain't going to get up here and like get X's and O's with everybody right now. But like Derek Nix calling the plays, this Auburn offense feels completely different than what Hugh Freeze was when he was on the sideline. I think you roll the dice. And here's the other thing, man. Like it gives you want to win this football game. Well, I don't need to tell either fan base like what this game means, but it also gives you an opportunity to let's get a real sense. Is Deuce Knight going to be the guy for us in 2026? That's something you want to know before you go into the offseason and get that opportunity. There's no better way to show you're the guy than at home beating Alabama in the last game of the season. I got two questions. Number one, what's the first quarter look like for Auburn? Like, can you get some early momentum at home and get Alabama on their heels? How does Alabama respond to losing against those? Because, I know they played Eastern Illinois. That doesn't really count as a response. Like, this is a game where if you can go up 7-0 or go up 10-0 and kind of put Alabama in that hole, how do they respond?
You have huge pressure if you're everyone on Alabama. Like Kalen DeBoer, obviously he's under huge pressure because, again, his second straight year and no playoffs. And this is certainly a play-in game. Alabama, there's no wiggle room here. They lose this game, they are not in the playoffs in 2025.
Yep. Yeah, I think Kalen DeBoer's on the hot seat.
100% he's on the hot seat. So I'm kind of interested. And he didn't exactly acquit himself incredibly well last year in big moments, and that's talking Kalen DeBoer. Sure. Like, you put some game pressure on him. I am kind of interested. And again, I don't mean to overstate that because I do love what like Alabama, like Ty Simpson to me has felt pretty unflappable for the most part this year.
I would
Because
agree with that.
again, I don't put anything in that Oklahoma loss on him. I thought he did enough for that football team. There were some other things going on. It felt like maybe, but like I'm not too terribly worried. I don't think if I'm Alabama about pressure in this game, especially given the way they play, where they can come back and they're kind of built to play from behind maybe a little bit.
They're built to play from behind because they can throw the football. It's like the competitive character of this football team and the competitive character of Kalen DeBoer. Here's the last thing with this Auburn offense, and then we'll get to the pick. Nobody's really been able to put this Alabama defense in conflict like Florida State was able to. How did Florida State do that? Like, you got your quarterback involved in the run game with Tommy Castellanos, a lot of jet sweeps and pre-snap motion, a lot of stuff on the perimeter. You got guys like Eric Singleton. You got guys like Malcolm Simmons. You got a quarterback like Deuce Knight. An offensive line that is not great in pass protection, but can move bodies in the run game. Auburn's offense has the ability to look like Florida State's did. Can you get back in that bag? We've never really seen anybody challenge Alabama like Florida State challenged them.
That's a really interesting point because the only other team that maybe could have was Oklahoma, but Oklahoma doesn't have the firepower I don't think that Auburn has, and like certainly it doesn't have the offensive line that Auburn has. So I'm kind of with you. I look like some of those things that Florida State was able to do. I do think Auburn, especially with Deuce Knight, because again, he had such a level of electricity in terms of what the quarterback spot's giving you. I do feel like they could maybe put some of that game plan into action. Like they have the skill sets to do it. Like big athletes who can get down the field and stretch it, and then some guys who are really elite at working underneath and making plays.
And with the ball in their hands, pick. So the line opened at 3.5. Money's been coming in on Alabama. It's up to 5.5. You're on the clock here. Bama, Auburn, who you got?
Count me in as an Alabama money line adder. I not money line adder, but someone adding to the money that's coming on Alabama.
Oh, gotcha. I was a little confused. All right.
I just really don't see Auburn stopping them enough. I think the way Alabama's offensive lines played, and even with the inability to run it, they've still been pretty tight in pass protection. And to me, Auburn, their secondary's just played so poorly for most of this year. And Alabama, they just don't give you a ton of chances to make mistakes because they do a really good job in capitalizing on it. So do I trust like Deuce Knight? And I'm just going to like work on the assumption it's going to be Deuce Knight to keep up with the way he's going to, I think, need to score with Alabama. I probably don't.
Yeah, I'm going Alabama too. And I think there's a reason this game is inside of a touchdown. Like, I think that surprises a lot of people. Like, Auburn can give Alabama some problems in some different ways, and you got potentially a new quarterback here. It's a night game in Jordan-Hare Stadium. That is never an easy place to go and win. I think I just trust. I
don't frankly trust Auburn to win games either. It's like they've been in.
Well, what about DJ Durkin on the sideline?
No, they lost to Vanderbilt in the game. I do not think they should necessarily lost. So no, I don't know that I trust DJ Durkin a whole lot either. Yeah. They've been in one-score games all year. They've lost pretty much every one of them. And that, again, like Alabama's kind of been the opposite. They've been able to win, obviously coming in 9-2, I should say, into this game. They've been getting the job done more often.
Yeah, I think you can talk about the matchups that might favor Auburn, 100%. There's been matchups that has favored this Auburn football team all year. That's why they've been in every single game. What team do you trust to go out and get the job done Saturday night? That answer is Alabama. All right. It's going to be a fight in a chaos game, man. Like, there are a lot of teams that are rooting against Alabama in this matchup.
The whole country's
The whole country is, right? Because everybody wants a spot in the playoffs, and Alabama's kind of that last spot, that LR spot. All right. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.